Hi, my name is Lexi Jong and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be going over a few product updates. So before we get started on some things that I've talked a lot about on my channel, right now I want to go over a couple of items that I've been using that I haven't really discussed, but this first one was recommended to me by Joanna, or Silver Joe, and those are wooden hair utensils. So my hair is very, very fine and it gets frizzy pretty much immediately, especially nowadays when it's pretty humid out. So it's been about 2 months and I switched over to using these instead of what I was using before. And I was using one of those boar bristle blend brushes, and I was also using a comb made out of recycled plastic that I've used for, I don't know, 20 years at least. I got it when I was a child, so I've had it for a very long time and I've always just loved it. So that was my wide tooth comb that I would use after the shower. Then if I ever needed a brush, I used one of those boar bristle blends. But I have had so many issues with frizz, and I get static issues during the winter sometimes, but not so much right now. And Silver Joe, she has incredibly long, beautiful hair, and she told me she never uses a brush. She has wooden combs that she uses, and her husband actually made hers from a special wood. Wasn't able to find that, but I did purchase these, and I didn't want to just go ahead and get like any wooden comb or brush off of Amazon. They do have a lot, and some of them are very inexpensive, but I wanted to make sure that the wood that was used was definitely a good quality wood. So I purchased these from Teint, T-E-K, and they are made in Italy, and so far they're really nice. So I used this one outside of the shower. When my hair's wet, I just comb through with this. No problems with snagging or anything, goes through easily. And then I use this if I need a brush during the day. And I have to say, I do think that my hair has been a little bit less frizzy than it normally is. I still have frizz. It has not gotten rid of it at all. I have tried so many products and stuff over the years, but honestly, I'm not somebody who is willing to invest a lot of time in doing my hair on a regular basis. I don't have much time getting ready in the mornings, so I can really only kind of squeeze in a few minutes. So these have been really nice. Another item, and I actually mentioned this on my Instagram, but not on YouTube. So this is the Retrouve Dermal Defense Hand Cream. And when this first came out, it was available for pre-order. So I pre-ordered it at that time, and then they had a delay in the shipment because they sold out. So they sent this to me with a free jade roller as, kind of a thank you and an I'm sorry it took so long type of thing. And I've been using this for about a month now, and I have to say that this hand cream is really nice. So my favorite hand cream prior to this was the Sisley Lantagirl hand cream. And I really liked that one because it's light when you put it on, but it seems to form like a true barrier and it's not greasy on your hands. And I would have to say that this one is similar. So you put it on, and yes, like all lotions, you're gonna feel like it's gonna feel a little like lotiony or a little greasy, right? After you apply it. But if you wait a minute or two, like here, this is my list, so I remember what to talk about today. And you can see I'm not leaving any like greasy fingerprints or anything. There are absolutely no marks whatsoever on that paper. And one of the great things about this hand cream is you can wash your hands. You can wash your hands many times. I can do dishes after I put on the hand cream, and I can still feel it working on my hands. Like, it doesn't completely go away. So this hand cream has been really nice because honestly, I do a ton of dishes. I cook pretty much from scratch for everything. And with the pandemic and everything, I've made every meal for over 6 months now. So I do a ton of dishes, and my thumb always splits. Actually, both of them do. But by now, even though it's still like end of summer, just starting fall, I usually already have a split in my thumb from doing so many dishes, and the weather's starting to get a little bit drier, and so far so good. So I put this on at night before bed, and if my hands are feeling a little dry during the day, I'll put it on, but honestly, I usually just use it before bed, and I am really enjoying it. Just for reference, this is 1.6 fluid ounces or 50 milliliters. It retails for $55, I believe. I'll double check that. And it is made in the US. And, you know, overall, I think it is a great hand cream. If you haven't ordered anything from Retrouve before, you can get a $20 off your first purchase, which would make this a real bargain. So if you're interested in trying it, I would definitely look into doing that. And I have to compare the sizes of the Sicily, but I believe this one is less expensive. Now on to some more cosmetic items. First, I want to go over the Chantecaille blush and highlight duos. So these are the two that came out during the summer. And I have Coral here, which has the manta ray on it. And this is the whale shark with the rose shade. And I really, really love these shades. I think the Coral is very unique. I have worn them a lot. You can see though that they are very hard pressed. So you can still see the pattern even though I've used them a lot. I do have both shades mixed on my cheeks right now along with the highlight from the whale shark, the rose duo. Now, what I wanted to talk about with this, and you know, it hasn't really happened as much to my rose duo, but if you look at the pan here in my Coral, I'm not even sure if you can see that here in the blush, but it looks like I'm starting to get hard pan, but it's not really hard pan. You know how when you get hard pan, you really can't get any color up and you can just kind of scrape it away and then usually the product is just fine. This is kind of like that, but not really. It hasn't gotten all the way to the point of hard pan, but it has gotten harder to get the color up. So I can still get plenty of powder on my brush, provided I use a firm brush. So when I was originally using this, I was able to use pretty much any powder brush and get up plenty of pigment. You know, this is a baked product and it's very hard in the pan in general, so you're not going to get up, you know, tons. It's not a powdery blush, but I had no issues getting product up and applying it. Now I have to go in with a very firm brush, or I have to kind of pinch it a little bit to get the color on the brush and then apply it. Once it's on the brush, it applies to my cheeks just fine for the most part, but it is something I wanted to note because that is an issue I'm having with this formula. And I was kind of on the fence as to whether this blush formula was my preference from Chantecaille or the formula in the Philanthropy cheek shades. And because of that, these are definitely going to be my favorite formula from Chantecaille. They go on so nicely. They're a more powdery blush and, you know, they're easy to pick up, easy to apply, easy to blend out. And there are, I believe, 6 shades of this. So I really love these. I just wanted to mention the difference in formula from how it was earlier for me. While we are discussing blushes, I also wanted to mention the Patrick Ta blushes, and I still always forget how to open these because I'm used to the Tom Ford opening, which opens here instead of lifting at the bottom. But this one is She's So LA, and these blushes are a very nice formula, but for some reason, I just never reach for them. I don't know what it is, but I do really like the actual formula, and I think they are a good purchase. I like having the clear protector over the cream product, and Patrick Ta does recommend, you know, adding the powder first and then the cream on top. I've done it that way. I've done it the opposite way. I've done just one or the other. And honestly, I like all of the different ways, but I am more prone to add the, well, actually recently, when I do use these, I usually use just the powder. So I haven't been using the cream quite as much, but I do think it is a really nice duo. I just, for some reason, don't reach for them. And I have She's So LA, which is the browner one, and then I have the pink one as well, which is not sure, she's that girl. Let me check. Yes, here's the other one. So it's She's That Girl. And you can see that I really haven't used these too frequently, but I do like them. So it's kind of weird. They're just, they're just not what I've been reaching for. And one more thing I just wanted to mention real quickly about By Terry. And those are these blushes. This is number 4, Nude Dance, and I have number 1, Platonic Blonde here as well. And it looks like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if these are being discontinued. They have not been on the By Terry site for quite a while, and now the only blushes that are on there are the duo ones where it's split down the pan. You've got 2 different shades, and I really love these, particularly, well, actually I really love both of these shades, Platonic Blonde and Nude Dance, but Platonic Blonde is the perfect peach shade for me. It's absolutely beautiful. I actually picked up another one of these, and I was just going to mention that, since I don't know if these are being discontinued, I haven't seen them restocked at any other sites. If you come across any of these single shade blushes, I would pick one up. I did pick up another one myself. It's something with Fiesta, so I'll have that on my channel soon. But yeah, I really love this formula, and unfortunately I think it is going away. A couple more cheek products I wanted to mention, and this is from Rituel de Fille, and these are the nectar bombs, the pigment bombs. And this one here is Glass Wing. It looks super dark in the pan, and I really love these formulas. So here's Glass Wing, and you can use this on the lips. You can share it out on the cheeks. You can use them on the eyes if you want to. I use them lips and cheeks, and I have 2 of them still. So that was Glass Wing, the berry shade, and then this one here is Bee Sting. And I wanted to get more when they had their Labor Day sale, but the shades I wanted were out of stock by the time I looked. So I just wanted to mention that these, I absolutely love them. I love the formula, and unlike a lot of cream blushes, these have a sheer base to them, which, I think is really nice. A lot of the cream blushes, they're a little bit more opaque, or, they have more of a beige or an ivory base to them. And these are really pretty sheer. So I love the formula for these. And another product I have been reaching for, I think this has been in my monthly favorites a couple times now, and that's the Ice Bow Highlight. Again, this is just something I have been using a ton of because I can tap it on and get something really light. I could, make it a little bit more opaque like this and have something blingy, but it's just such a beautiful highlight. So just wanted to mention those. I'm still really enjoying those products. While we're on the subject of highlights, I did just want to mention the Guerlain Pearl Dust Meteorite palette, because I still think this is the best highlighting palette I've ever used, because I really will use all 3 of the shades or mix them, and I mean, it's gigantic, so I think it's gonna last forever. I use this all the time, and you can't even tell. I also use it for eyeshadow and everything as well, and I just wanted to mention that if you haven't looked into this already, I would definitely, check into it, especially as we're having like so many sales and everything now. If it's something you're interested in, I would take a look at it. I think it is permanent. I don't believe it's limited edition, but it's a great highlight, and I think it's going to be fantastic for the holiday season as well. Now, foundations, I have been testing a lot of different foundations recently, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly which ones I prefer the most. But I did promise that I would go over mixing the Koh Gen Do Moisture and Aqua Foundation and how I like that. So I've worn that a few times. I have it on again today as a mix, and I really like it. It really does just give you a complete, mix of the 2 finishes. When I use just the moisture, it looks like I have freshly moisturized skin. It looks incredibly natural. Like I don't even have makeup on. It just looks like true skin, and it looks very well hydrated. When I use the Koh Gen Do Aqua, it gives me a real slightly radiant finish with plenty of coverage, but it's very thin and natural looking as well. And mixing the 2 of them gives you a finish like this. I did top this off with the Chantecaille A Cloud Dew powder today, but this is the finish, and I think they pair very nicely together. And yeah, really loving the mix, also loving them individually though. I've had quite a few questions about the Westman Atelier iPods as the summer season has kind of been fading, and I know so many people love these, and I just don't reach for them. I don't really love them. I think they're okay. So they're not my favorite. Part of it is the colors. They are a very soft looking shadow, which doesn't bother me, but they actually are not very long lasting on me, even with a primer. So I think they're okay. I still use them sometimes when, I'm doing one of those like no makeup looks, but they're just not something I reach for. So I personally don't find them to be worth the price. I forget what they are, like $88 or something. And yeah, I don't know. If they came out with like some really pretty like colors and stuff with like green and blue, or something with an actual like color other than a neutral shade, I'd probably still pick it up. But yeah, these I'm not in love with them, and I do have both sets, but they're just not my favorite. Another product I wanted to update you guys on is the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer, and I have been using this almost every day with my eyeshadow. Prior to this, I wasn't using eye primer all the time. I've always had a very hard time finding a primer that I enjoyed using that, either didn't dry out my eyes, actually worked to, give you some longevity to the shadows, or, adhere some of the more glittery shadows, and have one that, I found eye primers that have either like a strong like alcohol scent or some other scent that just kind of bother me and never really wanted to use. So it's always been a struggle for me to find an eye primer that I really enjoyed. And up until now, I have used the Anastasia Beverly Hills primer, which works very well. I really like that one. However, it is a little bit drying, so I don't like to use it every day because I do notice that my eyelids get a little bit dry from that product. Another primer I would like to check out is the P. Louise, but I have checked all summer and my shade it's been out of stock all summer. So I'll get that at some point. Now that I have this, I am happy with this primer. So this is the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer that came out relatively recently. This is 0.32 ounces or 9.6 milliliters. It's made in the US, and what I like about this is it works to give you a little bit extra longevity to your shadows. Works great with the Dior Quince, which in my opinion, you should use a primer with those, because I do have creasing with certain shades, after a few hours without a primer. But with a primer, they last, 12, 14 hours, no issue. So with this primer, what I like about it compared to the Anastasia Beverly Hills is it actually feels hydrating. So when you put this on, let me put this on my hand here. So you just need a little bit. I use about this much, and I apply it to my finger here, and I just kind of, I'll put it on both fingers and then rub it on my eyes. And you can see here's the shade. And what I like about this is it feels more like a moisturizer. So when I first put it on, I didn't think it was gonna work. This is like, oh my goodness, this is too emollient. It's gonna end up, I'm gonna have creasing in no time. But it really does work, and it keeps my eyes pretty hydrated. So I have been loving this product, and I haven't had any issues using this on a daily basis. So for me, great primer. Another product I wanted to update you guys on is the Tom Ford Shade Illuminate Eye Palette. And I have two of these. I have Moss Agate, which is the deepest one with the blue and the green. And then I have this one, Intensity 2 Moonlit Violet. I still really love them. I love the eyeshadow part of the deeper one. I don't really care for the highlight or contour shade too much. I like them more as an eyeshadow instead of as a face product. So that's how I'll use those. But this still use all the time, and I like all of the shades. I use both of these cheek products as well. And these are limited edition. So if you haven't looked into picking these up, but you're interested in one of the colors, I would take a look. They are exclusive to Nordstrom and the Tom Ford site. So those are going to be the only two locations here in the US that you'll be able to find those. but I don't know how long they're going to be around. So I would check into them if you're interested in one of these, palettes. I also have an update for you on a few brushes. So these are some Surratt cheek brushes. This is the Surratt cheek brush, which, I've had this one for a little while now, and I love this. I think it's a great blush brush, and it's, sort of similar to the Chikuhodo Z4. So if you've got one, you probably don't need both, but I do really like them. They're incredibly soft, and if you can get them on sale, I think they're totally worth it. If you can't get them on sale, I'd recommend purchasing something from Chikuhodo instead, because the Surratt and Chikuhodo brushes are manufactured, I believe, in the same place, just, different branding. So I would definitely recommend looking into one of those if you haven't already. Now, these two brushes are more recent for me. I picked these up back when Bloomingdale's was having that big sale. So I've got the highlight brush, which I wasn't sure how much I'd use because I didn't really have this shape much, but I have found that I actually really like using this for contour if you really kind of want to buff that out. So I apply it like this, and then you can kind of, spread that out. Or I like it for highlight as well. You can also it's a little big for under the eye, but you can use it for dusting powder under there or dusting powder in the T-zone. This works great for that. So I've found this to be a very versatile brush. Really like it, and it's super soft. It is squirrel hair. Now this one I've had quite a few questions on. This is the angled cheek brush, and this one is actually a mix, I believe, of a goat and squirrel. It's not quite as soft, and I wasn't sure, this is my first time really trying one of this shape. I've had some other angled cheek brushes, and the one that I use the most is actually the FO4 brush from Chikuhodo, which is a bit fluffier, and I use that for bronzer, specifically with the Gucci bronzer. This is going to be a bit firmer. It works great for contour though. Like, I was actually playing around one night and I just wanted to contour my whole face to see what it would look like, and this brush works great for that. So if you are somebody who likes to contour, this is a fantastic tool. But you can also use it, for blush. You could use just a pointed tip to get a little bit of highlight. It's very versatile. So I do really enjoy this, and it is a little bit firmer than the ones that are all squirrel. So if you've got something more like a baked contour product or just something a little bit firmer in the pan, this works very well, and it moves product super easily. That is everything I have for you today with product updates. And if there is anything that I missed that you were really hoping to get an update on, please let me know. Or if you have any further questions about any of these items, just let me know. I'd be happy to help any way that I can. And that's everything for today. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so and hit that notification bell so you know when the next video pops up. And that's everything. So I hope you have a great day. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you soon.